¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Muy buenos días. Te saludamos. Estamos a prácticamente 2 minutos de comenzar. Por favor, déjanos tus mensajes. Dinos de dónde vienes, de dónde nos acompañas. No dejes de darle like, por favor. Good morning, everyone. We're about 2 minutes to start. Don't forget to share with us who are you, where you're from, and give us a like. That is something very important for us.
Okay.
Muchas gracias. En breve comenzamos. We will start shortly.
Manda la liga de la esa y manda lo oficial, la alianza oficial.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Roberto Rivera, Executive Director of LATAM PCI, speaking from Mexico, and it's a privilege to host you for this important event. Please allow me to present the agenda. And as you will see, we have the opening and context live from Geneva, Switzerland, with Gary Strong, Chair of the International Fire Safety Standards Coalition, together with Dr. Brian Mitcham of Lund University, Sweden. We have the vision and purpose also from Geneva, delivered by Carlos Moret, our president of LATAM PCI. Next, we have the pre-recorded messages in support of our initiative. I will divide them by 3. Number 1, from our advisory council chairman, Ross Levitt, academic contributions, just a few of them, and the voice of worldwide leaders, including, of course, national and international organizations and associations. After these brief messages, we will go live to Santiago, Chile, with Rodrigo Lopez, president of the Chilean Association, along with Paulo Floriano, LATAM PCI president-elect for 2026-2027, will deliver their remarks. We will then proceed to an important presentation by Carlos Moret, followed by final remarks from Gary Strong and Dr. Brian Mitchell. We now hand over to Geneva for the opening and context segment with Gary Strong and Dr. Brian Mitchell, please.
Hello, distinguished delegates and colleagues. It is an honor to be able to send you this important message to open our meeting today. My name is Gary Strong, and I'm the chair of the International Fire Safety Standards, IFSS Coalition, supported by the UN here in Geneva. Our coalition was formed after the Grenfell Tower fire tragedy in London, UK in June 2017. Grenfell was unforgivable, a result of collective failure, a tragedy that impacted people and families and those that came to help them. The public inquiry final report with many recommendations on fire safety was published on the 4th of September 2024, and I do recommend reading the whole report. The IFSS coalition has grown from a small number of just over 20 professional bodies to now well over 100, including supporters internationally. We launched the coalition at the UN here in July 2018 and continue to receive their support. In October 2020, we published the very first truly international fire safety standards, the IFSS Common Principles, which were immediately presented to the UN, who adopted these as the first UN standards on fire safety. I commend these to you all to adopt into your own organisations and to use your networks to share. We also launched the Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2022 to 2032, which has the goal of improving fire safety across many specific areas, including people, structures, products, firefighting infrastructure, and communities. This will include training, standards development, guidance, and most importantly, sharing of knowledge to raise awareness of fires, their causes, and producing public guides. We have just launched this week at the UN here in Geneva the updated Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035, which now includes wildland fires. LATAM PCI have been instrumental in establishing the annual World Fire Safety Day on 8th of October and are working on formal adoption of this day by the UN General Assembly in New York next year. Working with all parties, we will continue to strengthen expertise and understanding of building and fire safety issues through continuous learning and skills improvements alongside increasing standards. The role for accredited, competent professionals continues to be crucial to building safer and better, and also to ensure the performance and confidence of the housing and construction and real estate markets. This becomes especially important under national government's drive to build record numbers of homes without compromising quality and safety. But it is not just about the built environment. We have record numbers of wildfires around the world, and with an increasing climate change, we are expecting this to get worse. The wildland-urban interface, WUI, is often affected with whole towns and villages destroyed by wildland fires out of control. Often community assets such as hospitals and schools are destroyed by fire, affecting communities for many years. Pollution caused by fire, from toxic smoke being released into the atmosphere, from toxins in the water runoff reaching and polluting rivers and watercourses, are now common. Wildlife is often one of the first victims, and we must work to protect all forms of life. We must work together to share technical innovations, knowledge, and volunteer our time to improve fire and life safety globally. I know that many of you are experts in your field. Together we can work to share your expertise globally, and I know you are such an important part of our fire safety journey over the next decade and more. Thank you for this opportunity to address you all, and now I'll hand back to my IFSS Coalition colleague, Brian Meacham, for our presentation.
Thank you very much, Gary. My name is Brian Meacham. I'm Deputy Chair of the IFSS Coalition. I also serve as Adjunct Professor in Fire Safety Engineering at Lund University and as a consultant in Fire Safety and Risk and Regulatory Policy. What I'd like to talk to you today about is a Decade of Action for Fire Safety update that Gary mentioned that we have launched here today in Geneva, and how that matches up with the World Fire Safety Day call to action. As Gary said, the impacts of fire around the world are enormous. More than 180,000 people die, and more than 8 million people are injured from burns associated with fire and other sources associated with the built environment every year. That's astounding. But in addition, it is now estimated that some 1.5 million people annually perish from impacts associated with smoke from large outdoor fires, including wildfire and other events, with impacts such as cardiovascular and respiratory effects. That translates to a staggering global average of more than 4,500 deaths every day. That's just unacceptable in this world that we live in, and we need to do something about it. We have many challenges. Many parts of the world are rapidly urbanizing. In some countries, this happens without a formal building regulatory system and the required infrastructure and capacity necessary to support safe buildings and control of fire in the wildland-urban interface. With fast urbanization, often there's informal constructions and informal settlements. And this is another tragedy on its own, because the materials used, being informal, are often unprotected and prone to rapid fire growth and spread. And the impacts of fire in informal settlements can displace tens of thousands of people and disrupt local economies, in addition to the death and injury that is caused. As Gary mentioned, loss due to wildfire is greater than at any time in the past. In the US alone, the total annualized economic burden of wildfire is estimated to be between 394 and 893 billion. Those are significant numbers. And if we look at the most recent fire in California, in Los Angeles, that fire alone, in addition to the deaths and injuries, is estimated to cost between 76 billion and 131 billion US dollars. That's just an enormous impact on the local economy and the type of impacts that we have to do something about. And if we look at the wildland fire impacts in a broader sense, what we saw in 2024 was 13.5 million hectares of forest being burned, an area roughly the size of Greece or a little bit bigger than Nicaragua, which topped the previous record by some 13%. In addition, in 2023, it was estimated that wildfires contributed about 2,000 megatons of carbon emission. This is serious impact on our environment, and all of these issues are things that we need to focus on. Clearly, urgent action is needed to address the global fire problem. To help foster international collaboration and to facilitate the allocation of resources needed to make progress, the IFSS Coalition has developed a plan for the Global Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035. The Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035 is built around the concept of creating a sustainable and fire-resilient approach for society, buildings, infrastructure, communities, and the environment. We're looking at the big picture here and all the interconnectedness. The goal of the Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035 is to globally stabilize and then reduce the forecast level of fatalities, injuries, economic cost, and environmental impact from fire by 2035. We will do that through a set of 15 objectives that are outlined in a list of over 60 representative action items that can be implemented by countries and governments and jurisdictions around the world. These are arranged in 6 pillars of action, being people, products, structures, firefighting infrastructure, communities, and the wildland and wildland-urban interface. These objectives and action items were based on principles of a socio-ecological technical systems approach. That sounds like a lot, but what it really means is everything is interconnected. We can't separate people from the environment, people from building, technology from building, or anything from the institutions and the regulations and interactions. It's all together. So therefore, we need an approach that looks at these interactions and can deal with the complexities of human behavior and vulnerabilities, the complexity of systems and technologies that we have in the built environment, and how people in the built environment interact. When we think about sustainability and new technologies going into buildings like photovoltaic systems and battery storage systems, we can't forget about the fire impacts that they can cause. So sustainability and fire safety has to go together. Likewise, the interface between the built and natural environments. When we start building more and more into the wildland, we're merging the wildland-urban interface issues, and we're creating more impacts on our cities and the potential for conflagration. We have to look at these collectively and see how we can work together with the people, the technology, institutional opportunities to affect risk mitigation. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot that needs to be done. And the Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035 doesn't stand alone. It will work with global initiatives that already exist, like the World Health Organization's Decade of Healthy Aging, the WHO's Global Emergency and Trauma Care Initiative, the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, and the World Bank's Building Regulation for Resilience Program. All of these global efforts are aimed at making the world a better and more sustainable place, and we can add to that, making it more fire safe at the same time. And all of these activities fit very well with the need for a World Fire Safety Day that will keep awareness out there every year for people to be able to look at and to understand that fire is important and that we need to act on it. Together, we can make a difference. Let's undertake activities to promote and deliver a global decade of action for fire safety and remember it each day on World Fire Safety Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary and Brian. Now we give the floor also from Geneva to Carlos Moret, who will address the vision and purpose. Please, Carlos.
Thank you. True privilege to be part of this important global event where we unite the voices of more than 20 world leaders in fire safety, all driven by a shared commitment to protect lives and communities around the world. LATAM PCI is a regional network that forms a collective force across 15 countries with 25 associations representing over 700 companies in the fire safety industry. Together, we strengthen our region's capacity to promote safety, resilience, and innovation. The organizations represented here today in this global broadcast are united under one purpose. Together, we build a safer and more sustainable world through fire protection and prevention. We're one voice with one goal, saving lives from fires. This mission unites us across regions and disciplines, building a movement that transcends borders, institutions, and individual agendas. But let us be honest. The challenge before us is enormous, like Brian just explained. Let me resume a little bit what he said, because the numbers are staggering, enormous. Every year, fires claim over 180,000 lives. They cause 8 million fire-related injuries and contribute to 1.5 million health-related deaths worldwide. The World Bank estimates that urban and industrial fires cost the world 1% of the global GDP annually, while 13.5 million hectares of wildfires release more than 2.2 billion tons of CO2, accelerating climate change and biodiversity loss. And the burden is disproportionately heavy in low-income and developing regions, where fire safety measures are limited and rapid urban growth multiplies the risk. Here is where the human and economic costs are more devastating, and where international cooperation is most urgently needed. And yet, despite all this, there's still no World Fire Safety Day recognized by the United Nations. Why October the 8th should be World Fire Safety Day? Because it marks a turning point in human history. On this day, in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire destroyed more than 17,000 buildings and left over 100,000 people homeless. But from that tragedy, the modern concept of fire protection was born. Building codes, fire-resistant materials, automatic sprinklers, alarm and detection, innovation that have since saved millions of lives, and Chicago was not alone. History has been shaped and scarred by fire. The Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, the Great Fire of London in 1666, the Boston Fire of 1872, and the San Francisco Fire of 1906, to mention just some of them. Each destroyed great cities, but each also ignited reform awareness, and innovation. More than 150 years later, those lessons remain urgent. Fires continue to destroy our homes, cities, forests, and cultural heritage. When Notre Dame burned in 2019, the world united to rebuild it at a cost that will exceed over 1 billion euros. Yet, that same amount could have protected 500 churches similar to Notre Dame. That is the true cost of neglecting prevention, a cost humanity can no longer afford. Because prevention begins with awareness and ends with regulation. And when awareness and prevention are lacking, regulation is written in the blood of victims who did not have to die. We must transform tragedy into culture, technology, and lasting policy. That is why October the 8th, the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire, is being proposed as World Fire Safety Day, an initiative led by IFSS and LATAM PCI to be recognized by the United Nations. Fire safety is not only technical, it is a moral duty. It is about protecting lives, communities, and the heritage of humanity itself. Let us learn from history so that we don't repeat it. And together, let us build a safer, more resilient world. Thank you. Thank you. And now we will hear the world leaders in fire safety, starting with our chairman, Ross Levitt.
Thank you, Carlos. We will now proceed with the pre-recorded messages of unity and support, beginning with our chairman, Ross Levitt.
Hello, my name is Russell Levitt of Telgen Holdings, and I am the chair of the Advisory Council for the LATAM PCI, which represents 15 countries and 25 different organizations committed to fire safety. LATAM PCI works to promote fire safety through setting standards, training, and providing resources for communities to prevent and fight unwanted fires. Fire safety saves lives and strengthens the resilience of homes, industries, and cities. It requires education, standards, and international cooperation aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and the Sendai Framework. Therefore, I express my support for UN recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. LATAM PCI is committed to providing fire safety standards and the necessary training needed throughout Latin and South America. The risk of fire is immune to country borders, political ideologies, or ethnic differences. Fire safety is something that all human beings have a right to enjoy and expect. Fire prevention is for everyone, regardless of where they reside on this planet we share as home. I invite you to join us this October 8th to share this message and to build together a culture of prevention that protects lives and the environment. Thank you.
My name is Jose Torrero. I'm professor of civil engineering and head of the Department of Civil, Environmental and Geomatic Engineering at University College in London. I'm a first fire safety engineer by training, and I've worked in this discipline for the last 40 years. Fire safety is a social responsibility that guarantees that individuals can safely occupy their homes, their offices, and their places of leisure. Fire safety is a crucial aspect of a healthy society and a crucial aspect of the well-being of citizens. Today, we're facing extraordinary challenges in matters of fire safety. We're looking for sustainable, innovative environments where we are introducing new technologies, we're introducing new challenges, and we're introducing a great level of complexity. The reality is that all these things are brilliant and extraordinarily positive for the well-being of our societies, but at the same time, they all bring new hazards, in particular, new fire safety hazards. If we compound this with the fact that climate change is exacerbating the potential for forest fires and fires at the urban-wildland interface that have an enormous potential for destruction, we see a picture of complexity that requires for us to put a much, much greater emphasis on this discipline so that we can guarantee that we have competent professionals, that we can guarantee that we have awareness, and we can guarantee that we are delivering this fundamental social responsibility of having built environments and natural environments that are fire safe for everybody. I therefore very strongly support the UN recognition of October 8th as a World Fire Safety Day. I think this is going to bring awareness, this is going to bring emphasis, and this is going to bring resources to a space in which for many years we have neglected a number of different aspects that are crucial to be able to deliver fire safety. We have to emphasize the need to maintain a pace that is consistent with innovation, with new technologies and new challenges. And for that, we need that awareness and we need that recognition that fire safety is a social responsibility that we cannot renegade. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Guillermo Rein. I am Professor of Fire Science in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Imperial College, London, here in the United Kingdom. I've spent 26 years of my life trying to understand all types of fires and how it affects people, property, and the environment. My belief being that research and understanding these phenomena allows for better solutions and more protection to society. Fire safety is now even more important than it has ever been, precisely because of the new hazards that continue to appear through technology and natural hazards. For example, wildfires are unprecedented destruction levels all around the planet, not just here in the UK, but also in the United States, in Asia, everywhere around the world, with connections, unfortunately, to climate change. Or battery fires, a new technology that has permeated into society, but it brings a new hazard with nasty consequences. Battery fire, the cloud, its toxicity, the possibility of an explosion, and the difficulty of suppression are things that are close to our minds. This is why I'm very excited about the initiative of having an international day that celebrates fire safety, October the 8th. My full support goes for the UN to put their weight into this. I definitely support the idea. Has been something important for me since day one when it was mentioned that it might happen. It's tremendously important that one day the planet doesn't allow to forget the importance of fire safety and the continuous threats that continue to happen to our lives, property, and environment. And also to celebrate the amazing accomplishments and how fire engineering and fire safety has protected people for such a long time that sometimes we forget that we've been protected by fire safety. Cheers, thank you.
I am Kate Nguyen, a professor and leader of the Innovative Fire and Facade Engineering Research Group at RMIT University, Australia. At RMIT, we work to advance research that addresses the evolving requirements of fire safety in the modern world, protecting lives, safeguarding assets, and preserving the environment while contributing to the global transition to net zero. We also train the next generation of fire safety professionals. Fire safety saves lives. It strengthens the resilience of homes, industries, and cities. It requires strong education, effective standards, and international cooperation. These actions align with the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Sendai Framework for Disaster and Risk Reduction. I strongly support the UN recognition of the 8th of October as World Fire Safety Day. At RMIT, we commit to close collaboration with industry and international partners to build a safer and more sustainable future. I invite you to join us this 8th October in sharing this message and fostering a culture of prevention, one that protects both lives and the environment.
Hi, this is Chris Jelenowitz, CEO with the Society of Fire Protection Engineers, speaking to you from the United States of America. SFP represents over 5,500 fire protection engineers from over 70 countries throughout the world. Our mission is to define, develop, and advance the use of engineering best practices, expand the scientific and technical knowledge base, and educate the global fire safety community to reduce fire risk. Fire safety engineers work hard every day to save lives and strengthen the resilience of homes, industries, and our communities. It requires education standards and international cooperation. Therefore, I express my support for UN recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. At SFPE, we commit to advance the support for educating fire protection engineers throughout the world in order to reduce the risk of fire. As such, I invite you to join us this October 8th to share this message and build together a culture of fire safety that protects lives and our environment.
Greetings. My name is Bob Caputo, and I am the president of the American Fire Sprinkler Association based in Dallas, Texas. Our association exists to educate and train our industry to reduce the fire losses and the devastation that fire can create when uncontrolled. For that reason, I am here today in support of creating a UN initiative to establish an International Fire Safety Day. Doing this will go a long way in helping to educate the general public about reducing the risks of fire in their lives, in the places they work and the places that they live. As my colleagues across the globe understand, public awareness, training, and education are the keys to reducing the fire loss in terms of property, as well as loss of life. So I hope you'll join me in support of creating an International Fire Safety Day, and I look forward to seeing this happen with a broader understanding of fire on the international stage. Thank you for your time.
Greetings from the Fire Stop Contractors International Association and the National Fireproofing Contractors Association. I've been honored to have been the founding executive director in 1998 with the FCIA and working with the NFCA since 2014 on a strategic mission to make sure buildings are safe through fire and life safety elements such as effective compartmentation, fire stopping, fireproofing for structural fire protection as well. A team of board members, volunteers, and staff have made a big difference in fire and life safety in buildings through the quality process of the design, installation, inspection, and maintaining protection philosophy.
With member companies that span all parts of the globe that represent and include thousands of professionals dedicated to protecting buildings, regardless of where they are in the world, both associations share a collective mission of delivering safe buildings.
And the three of us here are a representative of this humongous body of fire safety professionals who have dedicated years of their efforts to ensure effective compartmentation and fire resistance is designed, installed, inspected, and maintained throughout the course of its life. And we extend our support to the recognition of 8th of October as the United Nations World Fire Safety Day.
Greetings, my name is Suzanne Alfano and I am the Executive Director with the Canadian Fire Alarm Association. The Canadian Fire Alarm Association is a member-driven organization that was established in 1973 to support the fire alarm industry across Canada. As of today, we have over 400 member organizations and over 4,000 registered technicians. Why it matters. Prevention saves lives and strengthens communities. A robust fire alarm industry requires a collaborative fire safety community, including skilled technicians, innovative fire alarm systems, and modern codes, standards, and regulations that can keep up with modern technology and a changing society. Our mission and vision drive us to work for the benefit and safety of all Canadians, and we strongly support our global partners towards a common goal to improve fire and life safety outcomes around the world. CFAA supports the proposal for UN recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. We call on governments, companies, and citizens alike to join us on October 8th to share this message. Prevention saves lives, reduces losses, and strengthens communities. This is a global cause based on cooperation and education. We commit to outreach, training, collaborating with partners to promote best practices. I invite you again to join us on October 8th and share this message. Thank you.
My name is Mark Fessenden, and I'm the Managing Director of the International Fire Suppression Alliance, a global nonprofit dedicated to promoting life safety and property protection through the worldwide use of effective water-based fire protection systems. Globally, fire safety has become more critical than ever before. Urbanization, high-rise living, and modern construction methods are emerging risks that increase fire challenges. In many regions, families remain unprotected in their homes, and too often, fire leads to preventable tragedy. IFSA pledges our full support to the global fire safety community on October 8th. We join with worldwide partners to make sure that fire safety is a shared priority. World Fire Safety Day is about action. Across governments and industry, we need to ensure fire codes and standards reflects today's risks and continues the worldwide promotion of water-based fire protection systems. On this day, the IFSA reaffirms its commitment to protect lives, property, and communities. Fire safety is a global responsibility, and by standing together, we can create a safer world for all.
Hello, my name is Alan Brinson, and I am the Executive Director of the European Fire Sprinkler Network. I am based in London and travel frequently, working with colleagues across Europe. We have over 100 members from 16 countries, from small consultancies to large multinational companies. On behalf of our members, and more importantly for wider society, we campaign for a step improvement in European fire safety through the widespread use of sprinklers. Sprinklers reduce fire deaths and injuries by over 80%. They are equally effective at saving property, jobs, and the environment from fire. Yet they will only be incorporated in new construction if required by building codes. Some risks are more obvious than others, and over the past 20 years we have seen most European countries mandate sprinklers in new high-rise buildings. We have also campaigned for sprinklers to be mandated in care homes, where our most vulnerable members of society live. Today, the Nordic countries, UK and Ireland, require sprinklers in new care homes. Education has been key to our success. Since 2010, over 600 French fire officers have followed a 2-day course in sprinklers and water mist with hands-on experience. They now feel more comfortable about discussing sprinklers, and this is leading to them being required in many more projects. Fire kills thousands of people every year in Europe. We can change that if we persuade our governments to act. World Fire Safety Day on 8th of October helps raise the profile of fire safety, and the European Fire Sprinkler Network fully supports it. We will work with others who wish to see governments commit to ambitious fire safety goals. Change is possible when we work together. We call on the United Nations to recognise 8th of October as World Fire Safety Day. Please join us. Thank you.
My name is John Briggs. I'm the Director of the Confederation of Fire Protection Associations in Europe. We represent fire protection organisations operating in Europe and more recently across the globe, with members in South Africa and Korea. Fire prevention saves lives, communities, homes, businesses, and the environment. It must be at the forefront of making the world a safer place to live. We must all work together, cooperating with each other and each nation. The CFPA Europe supports the United Nations recognition of October the 8th as World Fire Safety Day, and we would welcome individuals, organisations and local and national governments to join with us and LATAM on October the 8th and share the message. On behalf of the Confederation of Fire Protection Associations Europe, I thank you.
Hello, my name is Iman Mati Suleiman. I'm the Technical Director at VDS Loss Prevention, whose headquarters is based in Cologne, Germany, with a number of branches around the world. VDS is an organization which has been ensuring safety in the fire protection field for more than 150 years. They develop advanced safety concepts for the purpose of loss prevention. We at VDS apply an optimal safeguard approach for the entire fire protection chain, ensuring highest reliability and efficiency, from the manufacturing of the product and systems all the way through to testing, installation and inspection. With our experience and our cooperation with other worldwide experts, we develop high-level standards, including our very own VDS guidelines, as well as national, European and international standards. Together, we educate, train and share our experience in fire safety to all relevant parties, including users, manufacturers, specifiers, installers and government all over the world. Therefore, I fully express my support for UN recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. From VDS, we are very much committed to continue our work together to save life and promote good practice. Therefore, I invite you to join us this October 8th to share this message and to build together a culture of prevention that protects life and the environment. Thank you.
Soy yo, Michelena, el director general de la Asociación de Investigación para la Seguridad de Vidas y Bienes, CEPREVEN, y vicepresidente de la Confederación de las Asociaciones de Protección contra Incendios Europeas. En CEPREVEN trabajamos para mejorar la seguridad contra incendios mediante la formación técnica, la certificación de profesionales y la formación de buenas prácticas en prevención. Desde CFPA impulsamos la cooperación internacional y el desarrollo de estándares que protegen vidas y bienes en todo el continente. La prevención salva vidas, reduce pérdidas y fortalece comunidades. Lo vemos cada día. Cada norma aplicada, cada curso impartido, cada alianza constituida tiene un impacto real en la sociedad. Este 8 de octubre, Día Mundial de la Seguridad contra Incendios, celebramos con orgullo la inauguración de nuestro nuevo Centro de Formación Teórico-Práctica. En él, los alumnos, además de recibir toda la formación teórica necesaria, podrán manipular todo tipo de equipos de seguridad contra incendios. Un espacio diseñado para formar los líderes en prevención del mañana. Por eso, expreso nuestro firme apoyo al reconocimiento por parte de la ONU del 8 de octubre como Día Mundial de la Seguridad contra Incendios. Desde CEPREVEN y CFPA Europa nos comprometemos a seguir promoviendo la educación, la cooperación internacional y la cultura de prevención e invito a gobiernos, empresas y ciudadanos a unirse a este día, a compartir este mensaje y a construir juntos un futuro más seguro para todos. Muchas gracias.
Hi, I'm Srinivas, National President, FSAI, that is Fire and Security Association of India. FSAI has got more than 5,000 members across 26 chapters in India and Dubai. FSAI work towards bringing awareness among all the stakeholders and also train and teach people through webinars, seminars, expo, that is exhibitions, and this is being done for the last 23 years. Fire safety saves lives. It strengthens the resilience of homes, industries, and cities. It requires education, standards, and also international cooperation to align with the Sustainability Development Goals. And I myself, and on behalf of FSAI, we support the UN recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day, and FSAI is committed to train and teach people to bring awareness about the fire and life safety. I invite you to join on this October 8th to spread this message and also builds together a culture of fire safety that saves lives and environment. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us in this significant date in supporting of the World Fire Safety Day initiative. We now move to Santiago, Chile with Rodrigo Lopez and Paulo Floriano. Let's start with the Zoom video, please.
Hola Latinoamérica y hola a todas las personas que están conectadas desde los distintos países. Soy Rodrigo López, presidente de ANAPSI, y estamos desde Santiago de Chile en la segunda jornada de la Quinta Feria Internacional de Protección contra Incendios Expo Fuego 2025. Chile es conocido internacionalmente por grandes terremotos que han ocurrido en su territorio, pero también por su verdadera capacidad de resiliencia. Nuestra infraestructura sismorresistente es fruto de décadas de aprendizaje y de una comunidad organizada e informada. Pero tenemos otro problema que también nos afecta: el riesgo de los incendios estructurales. Lamentablemente, en los últimos años, los incendios estructurales han cobrado más vida que los terremotos. Se estima que cada 2 días fallece una persona en Chile producto de la exposición del fuego y el humo, y creemos que esto puede cambiar. Esta semana dimos inicio a la primera versión de la Semana de la Prevención de Incendios en Chile, una iniciativa que busca sensibilizar y concientizar a la sociedad sobre los riesgos del fuego y poder entregar información básica para la prevención de incendios en el hogar. Desde ANAPSI, junto a los profesionales y empresas, estamos impulsando una verdadera cultura preventiva. Y no estamos solos. La TAM PCI y otras organizaciones de la región apoyamos la iniciativa global que busca que la ONU reconozca el día 8 de octubre como el Día Mundial de la Seguridad contra Incendios. Hoy me acompaña Paulo Floriano, actual presidente electo de la TAM PCI para el periodo 2026-2027. Paulo.
Graças, Rodrigo. Senhoras e senhores, como presidente do Conselho de Administração da Associação Brasileira de Sprinklers e como presidente eleito do Conselho de Administração da Rede Latino-Americana de Proteção contra Incêndios, hoje, presente aqui na Expo Fuego, em Santiago do Chile, declaro o meu total apoio ao estabelecimento do dia 8 de outubro como Dia Mundial de Segurança contra Incêndios. O Dia Mundial de Segurança contra Incêndios é um urgente chamado para a conscientização de prevenção, da qual não podemos mais postergar. Eu creio que podemos definir em 3 ciclos a forma com que a humanidade tem se organizado até o momento para o enfrentamento aos incêndios. No primeiro ciclo, que remonta da Antiguidade até a Idade Média, o fogo era enfrentado de forma improvisada, sem ciência nem estrutura, basicamente com baldes de água e muita coragem de voluntários sem nenhum preparo. O segundo ciclo começa a se consolidar ao final do século XVII. Aparecem as primeiras brigadas de incêndio, os primeiros equipamentos, tais como bombas manuais, mangueiras, extintores e os primeiros sprinkers automáticos. Neste período, surgem também os primeiros códigos de construção e normas rudimentares de segurança. O fogo deixa de ser visto apenas como uma punição divina e passa a ser estudado como um fenômeno físico e químico. O terceiro ciclo se fortalece depois da Segunda Guerra Mundial e segue até os dias atuais. É quando o fogo se consolida como ciência. Termodinâmica, combustão e dinâmica dos gases passam a orientar normas técnicas, ensaios de materiais e códigos de construção modernos. É a era dos sprinkers automáticos, dos detectores confiáveis e da engenharia de incêndio como disciplina acadêmica. Apesar da existência de todo esse arcabouço regulatório e normativo hoje existente, de toda a tecnologia desenvolvida e preparo das brigadas oficiais, vivemos num cenário de incêndios cada vez mais devastadores. O crescimento da população e seus hábitos de consumo demandam novos materiais, novos produtos, uso extensivo de energia, incremento no processo de fabricação e estocagem, novos métodos de transporte e mobilidade. Adicionados ao aquecimento global, tem fatores que vêm contribuindo para a criticidade do aumento alarmante do número de incêndios nos dias atuais. Para mim, o Dia Mundial de Segurança contra Incêndios será um marco na história e definirá o início de uma nova era, o quarto ciclo, o ciclo que será a evolução do enfrentamento aos incêndios. É o momento de uma agenda global, uma agenda que propõe tratados internacionais, de compromissos de redução de incêndios, de programas educativos desde a infância com ênfase na prevenção, de políticas de utilização de materiais e equipamentos certificados no âmbito das construções, de acordos para divulgação e compartilhamento de estatísticas e de dados de investigação de incêndios, e de incentivo ao desenvolvimento de novas tecnologias e novas práticas de monitoramento, prevenção e combate. Esta é a nova era que se abre diante de nós. O fogo como desafio planetário, que só poderá ser vencido com ciência, tecnologia, cooperação e consciência global. E nós, aqui reunidos, temos a oportunidade de deixar esse legado para as nossas futuras gerações. Muito obrigado.
Rodrigo and Paulo. We will now play a brief but very important reminder video about how to get involved through this World Fire Safety Day website. This site, important site, was developed by our alliance at the International Fire Suppression Alliance, IFSA. After this short video, hello again. Our alliance at IFSA have built a really dedicated, high-impact website to amplify the World Fire Safety Day initiative and make it easy for everyone to take part. As you can see, you can explore it in your own language and join this important cause in just a few clicks. As you can scroll, you'll reach a powerful testimonial sections. These first-hand stories from people directly affected brings urgency and humanity to our shared mission to prevent and fight fires. Further down, you'll find clear evidence and based reasons why fire safety matters: lives saved, communities protected, and resilience strengthened. Moving forward, you'll also see a direct invitation to be part of the broader Fire Safety Initiative project, an open door to endorse,
share, and mobilize your network. Add your support, spread the word, and take simple actions in your community or organizations. Next, you will find more information on how to get involved. And finally, the frequent asked questions, providing concise answers to common queries so that you can act with confidence, as you can see. Remember that every shared, every signature, and every action really counts. Thank you for standing with us.
Thank you very much for all the reasons expressed by the distinguished world leaders of fire safety who spoke before me. We propose that October the 8th be recognized as a day to first raise visibility of the human, environmental, and economic impacts of fire worldwide. Second, encourage stronger public policies and regulatory frameworks. Third, promote international cooperation in research, innovation, and training. Fourth, increase global public awareness about fire prevention. And fifth, link fire safety directly to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our purpose is to transform the memory of tragedy into an engine for hope and prevention. Let us make October the 8th the starting point of a global movement for fire safety, a day when governments, civil society, and industry unite to prevent tragedies and protect lives. Our mission is clear: to bring the voice of IFSS, LATAM PCI, and the global fire safety community to the United Nations, to achieve recognition of October the 8th as World Fire Safety Day. We have already taken historic steps in this direction. Mexico has officially declared October the 8th as National Fire Safety Day, thanks to the joint efforts of AMRASI, CONAPSI, and LATAM PCI, who have worked for years to protect lives and raise awareness. This date aligns perfectly with the World Fire Safety Day proposed for the United Nations, strengthening Mexico's global commitment. Chile is advancing legislation and unanimously supports in Congress to declare October the 8th as a National Fire Safety Day. Paraguay has formally submitted its request for government support to create a National Fire Safety Day and presented to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs the proposal for UN recognition of October the 8th as World Fire Prevention Day. Our diplomatic and institutional strategy is built on three pillars. First, unity in leadership, one strong regional and global voice, one global vision with regional work. Second, coordination in advocacy. Every leader and association president acts as an ambassador in their countries. Third, impact in communication, showing that fires are not local issues, but a global crisis affecting health, the environment, and sustainable development. Through these alliances, we strengthen our global representation and advance our shared goal, a safer world free of fire victims. Mexico will now lead the presentation of this initiative at the United Nations, joined by Chile, Paraguay, and Canada as co-sponsors. while we continue building alliances across Europe, Asia, Middle East, and the rest of the world. We're proud to have the support of our advisory board, made up of leading organizations in the United States and Canada, as well as the International Fire Suppression Alliance, IFSA, representing the world's foremost manufacturers and experts in fire safety. Together, we have the unprecedented international backing needed to move forward towards a UN recognition World Fire Safety Day. There is no room for passivity when something is wrong, only for action. At LATAM PCI, we're inspired by the example of Ambrasi, Mexico, and we encourage everyone to share best practices and collaborate globally. The ship of fire prevention cannot sail with separate oars. We must row together in the same direction with the same vision. The success of this initiative depends on our unity, collaboration, and shared purpose. To achieve this, we are organizing emblematic events across continents, engaging diverse sectors and communities, ensuring meaningful international participation. World Fire Safety Day is not just a commemoration, it is a call to action. Small actions can create powerful, far-reaching impact. We already witnessed the butterfly effect, a ripple of change spreading across nations. One of our proudest initiatives is our children's fire safety campaign, Learn to Stay Safe. We'll now watch a 1-minute video introducing this program.
Imagine a world where, from an early age, we learn to prevent accidents and save lives. Every day, fire incidents threaten our communities, especially our most vulnerable, children. That's why we've developed a groundbreaking educational program for preschoolers, already making a real difference in Mexico. In just 1 year, nearly 52,000 children and 700 teachers have been trained across a quarter of the country. Thanks to this initiative, the Ministry of Public Education will soon include prevention topics in the National Basic Education curriculum. Our mission is clear: to create safe homes, schools, and neighborhoods not only in Mexico but around the globe, especially in regions where safety measures are scarce. Every small action sparks a wave of change. Join us in igniting a future where safety and smart choices prevail. Let's be the change our communities need.
An informed child can transform an entire family when a child asks, why don't we have a smoke detector or fire extinguisher at home to save our lives in the case of a fire? That simple question can ignite awareness and change. In developing countries where a culture of prevention is still growing, this campaign aims to shift priorities and transform adult conscience through the voice of children. I have a dream. Imagine a world where every October the 8th, monuments across the planet light up in orange as they shine pink today for breast cancer awareness, as we have it here in our suits. A day when fire safety is recognized not only locally, but globally. When that date comes, we will know we have truly made a difference. Now is the time. This is our responsibility. This is our mission. This is our fight. Let us raise awareness, rally allies, and join the global movement. Let us fly the flag for World Fire Safety Day. Let's make this project not a dream of a few, but the legacy of us all, because prevention is not a choice. It's our shared responsibility. Unity plus purpose equals actions for a safer sustainable world. With unity, determination, and purpose, we are transforming awareness into action, and action and global change into global change. October the 8th will mark not only remembrance, but responsibility for a safer, more sustainable world. Thank you very much. Now I will hand over to Brian Mitchell and Gary Strong for their final conclusions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. I hope that each of you who have joined the World Fire Safety has seen a passion of those who have come together to make this a reality. This passion comes from recognizing that unwanted fires take on global population, environment, economy, cultural heritage. Today we have heard many inspiring messages from a wide range of leaders in fire safety. They have spoken about the importance of a wide range of activities, from research and education, to implementing technology and regulations to help reduce fire risk, property in the environment. In this, education is imperative. Training our children to stay safe in fire, educating technicians and fire safety engineers to deliver technological solutions. To promote World Fire Safety, advocacy is critical. For this, we need your help. The International Fire Standards Coalition, launched here in Geneva at the UNECE meeting in 2018, has brought more than 100 organizations and supporters together for a common goal of promoting the adoption of fundamental fire safety and fire risk reduction principles into acts, laws, and regulations. Promoting a World Fire Safety Day fits this very well. Here at the UNECA meeting this week, Gary and I had the honor to participate in the Forum of Mayors meeting, a session dedicated to impacts of extreme heat and wildfire on cities around the world. We heard firsthand many of the challenges cities face, as well as the benefits that can be gained by implementing fire risk reduction measures, sharing data and information, and approaches onto how people can be made safer from fire. We launched here the Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035, which focuses on 6 pillars of action: protecting people, property, structures, firefighting infrastructure, communities, and the wildfire-urban interface. It's an objective of the International Fire Safety Standards Coalition to have the UN General Assembly endorse the Decade of Action for Fire Safety 2026 to 2035. This aligns well with the effort to have the United Nations General Assembly endorse October 8th as a World Fire Safety Day. Endorsement of October 8th as a World Fire Safety Day will be a yearly reminder of the need to take action to educate the public and policymakers on the dangers of fire and the many actions that can be taken to reduce fire risk and increase fire safety. We hope you agree on the importance of promoting fire safety and will join the effort to gain endorsement of the Decade of Action for Fire Safety and naming October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. You can help significantly by promoting these concepts with your local, regional, and national policymakers and urging adoption of your cities and countries, as well as by the United Nations and other global organizations. I would like now to turn it over to Gary to help us understand better how we can undertake this advocacy and support going forward. Gary.
Thank you, Brian. Hello again, distinguished colleagues around the world. This is a momentous day. Never before have I seen so many people globally come together in this way to unite around fire safety. We've heard today really inspirational speeches from leaders in fire safety, and seen videos that have motivated us all to develop a better, fairer, inclusive, sustainable, fire-safe world in accordance with UN SDG 11. The call to action to ensure 8th of October is recognised as the annual World Fire Safety Day endorsed by the UN is something we must all be invested in. Our grateful thanks must go to Carlos Moret and his team at LATAM PCI, in particular, for starting and leading this initiative, and to all the Latin American and North American associations who have been supporting this work behind the scenes. The journey to achieving a UN resolution for World Fire Safety Day at the UN General Assembly in New York next September requires a lead country champion, and it's great news to hear that Mexico will be that champion, supported by other countries. My ask of you all is that you use your networks and influence to reach out to as many people as possible in local and national governments, including your local regional UN Commission, such as the UN ECE, that's the Economic Commission for Europe, here in Geneva, where Brian and I presented to yesterday at the UN Forum of Mayors, which had over 100 countries represented. We need that support, and we need their help. You will all have a UN Economic Commission for your region, so please help us by ensuring that they all know about and will support this initiative. We have many geopolitical challenges in the world right now, and who knows what will come. So we have to navigate carefully through those and ensure that fire safety is a global issue which no country can ignore. I am positive that collaborative endeavours of our coalitions, the IFSS, LATAM PCI, IFSA, AMRACI, CANAPCI, and all our constituent members will continue to grow and succeed and ensure a more joined-up, fire-safe world. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will now end with a short video. Stay safe.
On October 8th, we unite for World Fire Safety Day. Each year, fire takes more than 180,000 lives, drains about 1% of global GDP, and wildfires release billions of tons of CO2. The burden falls hardest on low-income communities. But fire risk is preventable. Make 3 moves. Create and practice an emergency plan at home and at work. Install and maintain smoke alarms and, where possible, sprinklers, keeping built-in fire barriers like fire doors working. Fix unsafe wiring and remove everyday hazards. This year we're mobilizing a global effort toward United Nations recognition of October 8th, linking fire safety with health, climate, and development. Learn, share, act. Prevention saves lives, protects livelihoods, and preserves our only world. October 8th, World Fire Safety Day. Visit latamc.com for resources to share the message and to take action today, and international fire safety standards for global principles and guidance. One world. Let's protect it together.